Every leader has a moment, that quiet pause between I think I can, I'm not so sure. Welcome to Tutum Talk with me, Cara Nance. Together, we'll explore what it means to lead with heart, to build confidence not from control, but from connection. Because your leadership isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And when you trust yourself, your team will too. Join me as we explore leadership in the everyday and beyond. Every leader I know has had a night when sleep just won't come. Your mind replays conversations, decisions, those moments where you said something with the best of intentions. And now you're wondering, did I help or did I hurt? Did I do right by my people? Did I say too much or not enough? If that's you tonight, you're in good company. Because the truth is, you're not the only one lying awake, wondering if your decisions are helping or hurting. This episode is a love letter to the hidden network of heart-led leaders doing the work behind the scenes, the ones who stay late to listen, who notice when someone's struggling even when they don't say a word, who bring calm into rooms that feel tense or fragile. Just because your leadership is quiet doesn't mean it's not loudly felt. I'm Cara Nance, and this is Tutum Talk, where we explore what it means to lead with heart, courage, and connection in the everyday moments that shape us. Today's episode is called The Power of Quiet Community. We don't often talk about quiet leadership. We talk about confident leadership, visionary leadership, transformative leadership. But the quiet kind, the steady kind, that's often overlooked. Yet some of the strongest leaders I've ever worked with were the quiet ones. They didn't dominate the room, they grounded it. They didn't fill space with noise, they filled it with presence. When a hard conversation needed to happen, they were the one to make sure it happened with care. When the team was fractured or tired, they were the ones who brought people back to each other. They didn't need to perform leadership, they embodied it. And maybe you're that kind of leader too. You don't crave the spotlight. You just want to make things better, to steady the ship when things get uncertain, to build a culture that doesn't need you to shout to be heard. I see you, the quiet leaders who question whether your way, quote unquote, counts. Because we live in a world that celebrates visibility. The loudest voice often feels like the most confident one. The most polished presentation can sometimes get mistaken for the most prepared. But here's what I've learned over and over again. Quiet leadership doesn't whisper, it resonates. It's the kind of leadership people feel before they notice it. It's the kind that builds psychological safety. It's the kind that creates trust so strong, others start to stand taller simply because you believe in them. It's not soft. It's not passive. It's deeply intentional. Let's talk about what I call quiet community. When I use that phrase, I don't mean a fan club or a big networking circle. I mean a web of connection that forms when heart-led leaders like you choose to do the right thing even when no one's watching. The quiet community exists in every organization. It's the group text between managers who check in on each other after a hard week. It's the department head who advocates for their team even when it costs them convenience. It's the HR partner who says, let's slow down and really listen before we decide. These aren't loud acts, they're steady ones. And over time, they form the backbone of healthy cultures. When leaders operate from care instead of control, when they bring steadiness instead of spectacle, Everyone feels it. And those ripples, they spread. That's quiet community at work. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I worked with a team that had gone through multiple leadership changes in less than 2 years. Morale was low, to say the least, and turnover was high. And yet, one person, not the manager, not the director, was quietly holding the team together. She didn't call herself a leader. She called herself just the admin. But she was the one that people went to when something broke. She checked in when someone missed a meeting. She remembered birthdays and brought snacks on hard days. When we ran a Clifton Strengths session, her top strengths were responsibility, harmony, and empathy. And as we talked, she started to realize that what she was doing wasn't just helping, it was leadership. She was the cultural glue, the invisible thread that kept people connected enough to keep going. That's quiet community in motion. Quiet leadership moments rarely make headlines. They happen in hallways and one-on-ones, not stages or boardrooms. They sound like, I know that was hard. How are you holding up? Or, I believe in your decision. Let's talk through the next step together. It's leadership that centers people, not performance. And here's the beautiful thing. When quiet leaders hold the space with care, they give permission for others to do the same. It becomes contagious in the best possible way. People start to breathe easier. They start to speak honestly. They start to trust that they can show up as themselves. That's what builds resilient teams. Not policies, not posters, presence. If it feels right, take a deep breath with me here. In and out. Now think of someone in your world who has quietly shaped the way you lead. Maybe it's a former boss, a mentor, a colleague, or even a family member. Someone who didn't have to raise their voice to be respected. Someone who steadied you when you were doubting yourself. You got them in mind? All right, now notice what it felt like to be around them. Did you feel calmer, more capable, more seen? That's the power of quiet community. And here's what I want you to remember. Someone, somewhere, feels that way about you. That's right, you. Your steadiness has likely been someone's anchor, even if they've never said it out loud. Now, if you've been carrying your leadership quietly, maybe even alone, this is your gentle reminder you don't have to. Quiet doesn't mean solitary. In fact, the most sustainable quiet leaders are the ones who build their own community, people who replenish them the same way they replenish others. Sometimes that looks like having a coach or a mentor. Sometimes it's a trusted peer you can be fully honest with. Sometimes it's simply a moment of stillness, a walk, a journal, a quiet cup of coffee, where you reconnect with yourself before you step back into leading others. Because leadership, at its healthiest, flows from who you are, not at the expense of who you are. And you can't pour from an empty well. When you create space for yourself, you strengthen your capacity to create space for others. And that's what quiet leadership really is. Creating space for honesty, for healing, for growth. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to hold people accountable and when to hold them gently, when to lead from the front and when to quietly walk beside. Quiet leadership honors the full spectrum of humanity in the workplace. that allows people to exhale, to bring their full selves, to stop performing and start connecting. And those are the environments where people don't just stay, they thrive. So here's your invitation today. Think of one person in your quiet community, someone who's made things better in quiet, consistent ways. Send them a quick message. It doesn't have to be grand, just, I see you. Thank you for the way you lead. That's it. You might be surprised how much that simple acknowledgement means, and you'll remind them that their quiet leadership matters. Because leadership isn't a solo act, it's a shared heartbeat. And every steady, humble leader who keeps showing up with care helps someone else do the same. As we close today, I want to leave you with this thought. Quiet doesn't mean small. It means intentional. It means your leadership carries a frequency that others can feel, even if they can't name it. And the world needs more of that energy right now. So, keep showing up in your way. Keep leading with your heart. Keep trusting that what you're building matters, because it does. If this conversation resonated with you, if you're ready to lead with more calm, clarity, and confidence, I'd love to walk alongside you. You can click on the Let's Connect button on the Tutum Leadership Coaching website to schedule a conversation with me. It's not about adding more to your plate. It's about finding alignment, space to pause, breathe, and lead from your truest self. Because you don't have to lead alone, and you don't have to lead loud to make a difference. I'm Cara Nance, and this has been Tutum Talk. Until next time, lead gently and stay rooted in your quiet power. I know you have a lot of options on how you carve out your day and spend your time, and I'm honored that you decided to spend some time here today at Tutum Talk. Remember that leadership, it isn't something that we master once. It's something we grow into, moment by moment. My hope is that today offered you a little more clarity, a little more courage, and a reminder that you're not leading alone. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it too. And remember, confidence doesn't come from having all the answers. It grows from connection, curiosity, and the courage to keep showing up. I'm Cara Nance, and this has been Tutum Talk, exploring leadership in the everyday and beyond.